Okay, so this particular video is on self-discovery. Can one identify? Can one articulate? Can one no, articulate seems to be the word. Can one understand? Can one identify one's own problems, one's own pluses, one's own minuses, one's own strengths, one's own weaknesses? Can such things be identified in one's own existence? Can one still remain articulate after a large amount of vodka? We shall see. It's your boy Perfection back again with another freaking video, guys. And this time it's on self-discovery. So check this out. Yes, I did say I came to the end on the last video. I did say I came to the end and there was no more ideas. But here's the thing, when I drink a bit of alcohol, there is more ideas. There's always more ideas. There's always room for more. There's always room for more. I'm like Gollum of the Ring. I'm like, where's my precious? Where's my precious? But precious happens to be more ideas. Okay? So we replace the word precious for more ideas. Where's my more ideas? Where's my more? Right. Self-discovery. I've come across a lot of people where they walk into rooms, and I think, again, this is I try to say to people that sometimes it's almost like I'm going round in circles, you know. The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. You know, it reminds me of one of those horror movies. I don't know if people have ever watched one of those 1980s horror movies, and they would always have children singing these kind of goofy songs. And then you'd have like the wheels on the bus go round and round, and then it would continue, and then something would happen, like, I don't know, someone would get run over by a car or something like that. The wheels on the bus go round, the wheels on the bus go, and then, but anyway, where was I going? I've kind of lost my chain of thought here. Right, so with certain people, they kind of go round and round. Well, it's kind of similar to one of the videos that I done. What was it? It was are you trapped? Is it a broken circle or something? Are you trapped in circles? Right. So there's a lot of people. There's some people that walk into rooms basically, and they're going around in the same circle. And it's almost like they're almost like ghosts basically, and they keep going around in the same circle, and they're unable to identify a pattern within themselves. Although I wouldn't class it as a pattern, I'd class it as we're brought into this world. They say that we're like slates, and our parents write upon that slate, but it's also our experiences that write upon that slate as well. And maybe certain kind of trials and tribulations, traumas, have caused us to kind of develop traits that may not be favorable among most people. And we walk into rooms and we start feeling sorry for ourselves, and we're unable to kind of say, look, it's our fault, you know. So this video is on self-discovery. I mean, like, really, I mean, look, guys, look, challenge me. This has become a self-harm video. Right. I know that when I walk into rooms that people may see me maybe as eccentric. The way this guy talks, maybe he's kind of eccentric. Maybe he's like he's not hip. He has swagger, but it's kind of like a it's not an urban swagger. It's not what he should be for a black person. Okay. Occasionally, because I often work out a lot, they may say, oh, this guy's a bit smelly. So there's the smelly, there's the eccentric, i.e. he's not black enough kind of thing. There's the unusual questioning. Okay, so that's me acknowledging myself. That's me saying, wait, let's flip this, let's jump outside of my body and view it how other people may see it. Okay, so this guy's a bit, hey, he's a bit smelly, you know, and this and that. His dress code, he's not really fashionable, he doesn't go with the latest trend, so he doesn't really care about how people judge him. And how I would judge him is that, you know, you might want to get better trainers and name brand trainers or this or that. It might make you look better, you know. You don't really say those things to girls if you're chatting them up, but you're saying it. This particular guy saying it, which is me. What else? Sensitive. This guy seems to be quite sensitive to me. He seems quite sensitive. He was enjoying himself for the first 2 hours, but now he's kind of silent. So he's kind of hot and cold. So basically, the point I'm trying to make, guys, is that can you honestly look yourself in the mirror and identify your own flaws and strengths? And that's a hard thing. I mean, people are watching it and thinking, you know, and trust me, it's easier said than done. There's a lot of people out there thinking, well, you know, you know what it is. There's probably some people out there going, well, you know what, I don't even care. You know what I mean? Man don't even, you know what, man don't even think about them things. You know what I'm saying? Right? You know what I mean? Life's too short, blood. You know what I mean? Just enjoy being who you are, and who cares what people think and all of that. Yes, you're right. Who cares what people think? You're right. It's weird, you know. I've done my mental health videos, and I try to explain to some people what mental health is. And mental health is that basically, if you're unable to hold down a job, although let's face it, mental health is a broader spectrum than this. I'm drunk, so just bear with me. I'm trying to be as kind of correct as I can be, or as knowledgeable as I can be, right? So yes, that is one aspect of it. You know, one aspect is you're unable to hold down a job. The other aspect is socially, you know. If you're unable to hold down a relationship as well, then you're in a lot of trouble, basically. So jobs and relationships, you're in a lot of trouble. Almost makes you a loner in a sense. So when you hear people saying, well, boy, you know what I mean, I don't care what people say, you know what I mean, and just, you know what I mean, I just get on, you just believe in yourself, innit? You can't, I even say, you can't make everyone happy. You know, you can please some of the people all of the time, but you can't please all of the people some of the time, right? But you got to understand that there's a grey area, and the grey area is that how would I describe the grey area where it makes sense to these people? Okay, right. So the grey area would be, let me think, guys. Bear with me. Let me have another sip of the good stuff, and then we will get back in it. Because right now, the wheels on the bus go round and round all day long. Right, so the grey area would be, so the extreme to the left would be, Damn it, guys. I'm actually ruining my own video. I don't want to do this. I don't want to ruin my own video. Right, so the extreme. So what we're talking about here? We are talking about the extreme between not giving a hoot and maybe being paranoid of yourself, right? Paranoid of yourself and not really caring what people think, right? Yeah, you shouldn't care too much about what people think, and you should be confident. But if it's getting to a point where you're unable to form relationships, you're unable to hold down a job, then there's an error, there's a red flag there. There's an alarm bell going off, okay? That's when you may need to sit back and say to yourself, right, let me kind of analyze how I am today. So you may walk into a room, and it is not an easy thing to do to begin with. It takes time, but you're walking into a room and you're basically speaking to people, but really observing their reaction to everything that you say. And you're just kind of getting home and reflecting on that. And if you have a good support network, then you may be able to ring those friends up and say, tell them to be honest with you. How was I today? How did I seem? Because I'm quite honest with my friends, you know, and I try to be constructive with them. I don't want to be harsh with them. So I have certain friends. For example, I have a friend that's autistic. I will tell him, you know, I'm not going to say to him, I don't expect him to be more than what an autistic person in his situation would be. So I'll say to him, yeah, you did brilliantly well, or this or that. If it was a normal friend now that wasn't autistic, I would expect hold him in higher regards. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? But enough of the babbling on. My challenge to you guys in this video is just self-reflection, because it's not an easy thing to do, to self-reflect and self-discovery and self-honesty. It's not an easy thing to do, guys. I've just told you in this video how I believe people view me, okay? And it's not an easy admission. You know, I said that people might say this guy, because he works out a bit, he smells a bit, his dress code is poor. He might be classed as eccentric based upon because he's well spoken. He asks maybe too many questions. But I mean, again, these things are classed as negative things, but there's positive things as well. There's a positive side of it. He's very easy to talk to. Yeah, very easy to talk to. You know, he smiles a lot. He listens very well. I mean, in fact, too well, scarily well. So there's positive things to it as well. But this video is important because I want people that watch this video to be able to self-reflect, and you don't need to share it with me, but just share it with yourself. What do you know about yourself? If I was to sit down and say, because I respect people that do know. There are people out there that will turn around and say, listen, look, I know I'm a bit of an idiot, and I know that sometimes, you know, blah, 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 and they're honest with themselves, and I respect those kind of people. It's the people that kind of pretend to be something that they're not that I have a problem with. Where they're going around and judging people this or that, but when you suddenly say to them, well, what have you been doing? They want to get all defensive. Those people I feel sorry for, because in the long run, you're missing out on things. You're unable to progress. I was speaking to a nephew of mine the other day, and I was saying to him about spiritual progression, about growth. You're unable to grow. It's no different than me. I always say to people, jobs and relationships are the same thing. If I go into a job and I don't realize, maybe I'm a manager and I don't realize how I'm talking to my staff or what I'm doing wrong in the job, and people are coming and telling me, listen, Nick, when you speak to me, when you speak to us, can you kind of just give us a little, don't worry, listen, I know what I'm doing, yeah? I know what I'm doing, don't tell me how to talk to, then, as opposed to, damn, is that how I came across you, Ben? Okay, well, thank you, Ben. Ben, I appreciate what you're saying to me. If I sounded out of line, I apologize for that, I really do. I think I'm going to spend about 3 minutes on professionalism, because that's another video I wanted to do, so I'm going to tie it into this, and then and then I will kind of, have no more videos to do, I promise you. I just want to tie it in about professionalism as well, is that, because professionalism kind of ties into self-discovery. It's being the best version of yourself, and the best version of yourself will lead to professionalism, without a doubt. Without a doubt, it will lead to that. Um, yeah, so that same scenario, well, Ben, thank you for telling me. I didn't realize I was coming across that really. I suppose I was really angry. The reason why I was angry, Ben, is because I told you about 3 or 4 times. Like, come on now, I did actually come to you and tell you 3 or 4 times now. And it seemed like you just weren't getting it. This is important, Ben. That you're letting the whole team down here. When you kind of, disregard the fact that, the till can't be left open. It could have caused this kind of problems, and that, um, the team gets, the whole team, Ben, and we have a certain, whatever way when you should describe it, depending on what job you're in, but without kind of resulting to losing it. Funny enough, I was watching this program today, and this ties into professionalism, and it was on a wrestler called Booker T. And Booker T, whenever he lost it, they called him turning black. Like, oh no, it's funny how Booker T, when he loses it, he turns black. So King Booker, who's a wrestler, look at that, called King Booker. And when he's in his when he's portraying this character of a posh person, right? And he'll speak to people, oh hello, this or that. And then when he gets angry, he goes, what the hell, man, blah blah. And they say what they say, that when he gets angry, he's turning black. And then one person said, it's funny how whenever he gets angry, he turns black. And then there was a white person in the description said, yeah, but that's a bad thing. Okay, it's, in regards to black people, it's not a bad thing. Okay, I'll tell you why it's not a bad thing. Because, well, black people, a lot of the times, other races want us to be more civilized. But the minute we simulate how they are, they then say to themselves, right, he's on my level. And they then, even though he's on their level, I would say intellectually, they then believe that they couldn't try their racism when they believe that we are a stereotype, because we are a threat. We're black people, we're killers, we're thugs, we're this and that. But then when we suddenly assimilate to what they want us to be, which is civilized, they then say to themselves, right, he's civilized like me, but he's below me. So it becomes a contradiction. It becomes that we can't be ghetto because they're scared, but we can't be civilized because we're somehow a joke or the butt of their jokes. So it's, well, Booker T, when the guy turned around and said in the comment section, yeah, but it's funny, it's funny when Booker T, when he gets angry, he turns ghetto, and one guy goes, yeah, but that's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's ghetto is not a bad thing. Our slang, or our urban slang, is a very powerful thing. It's something that tells people that, listen, we're not joking no more. I mean, we've tried to speak your language. We've tried to assimilate the way you want us to assimilate, and you've kind of, rather than respect us and say this guy's made an effort to kind of communicate on the same level, whereas Chinese and many other races have said, well, F you, you've kind of then taken it as in, oh, he's speaking like us now, let me kind of take the piss out of this guy. Let me forget that although he's speaking like us, there's racists within our organization that's holding his race down. So when you're saying certain jokes, you may see it as a joke among friends, but there's institutionalized racism that makes it kind of more personal. It's like, it's more than a joke. Like, you may see it as a joke, but these things are happening and you're doing nothing to kind of combat and fight it. I know it sounds kind of too deep, but please understand where I'm coming from with it. So, yeah, so getting back to the Booker T thing, with Booker T, it was just just understand that there's certain things, there's certain times that black people will have to kind of resort to being aggressive or this or that, because at first you're teaching us to assimilate your race, but when we assimilate it, we're then seen as someone that is someone that has lost their strength in a sense. Alright guys, thank you for watching this video. It's a shame towards the end I kind of lost where I was going with it, but hopefully I said enough to kind of sum up my point. And I will leave you guys. Thank you and peace.